what the black man and woman needs to know about the nation, about the world, about themselves. Muhammad Speaks It. To order your 12-issue subscription to Muhammad Speaks newspaper, 313-371-7033. 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Muhammad Speaks presents Messenger Elijah Muhammad's Teachings by Minister Khalil Shabazz every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful. So, Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live, the alone do we serve, and the alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path, path of those upon whom thou bestow thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray if they heard thy teaching. Say he Allah is one God, Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none deserve to be served, worship, or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. We'd like to acknowledge the brothers and sisters that extended us the greetings of Assalamu Alaikum. We have Brother Calvin Shabazz from Atlanta. We have Sister Inshoa Muhammad from New York. We have Brother Raul from Iowa. And we have Dr. Ali from Mississippi. And I'd like to say in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and in the name of his last and greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet the brothers and sisters with the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu Alaikum. We'd like to start today with the November 19th, 1965 Muhammad Speaks, and it's called Harlem and South Side of Chicago. And we starting in the middle of the article. The messenger says, there is no other or better program offered to you, I should say future, than the one which God himself offers to you through me. This is the program which I have written and keep before your eyes daily on the last page of our newspaper, Muhammad Speaks. It is the greatest presented to you since you have been in the Western Hemisphere. I offer to you that which the world of wisdom will agree is the best and only solution for our problem, and God himself, whom I preach to you, has appeared in the person to me to bring an end to our sufferings. Bear me witness. So this is the messenger talking about the Muslim program. And he says that the Muslim program that he keeps before us is the best that we done had in the Western Hemisphere since we've been here. The one that God presents to us. Because that's the main point of all of this that we miss in this new school stuff. Because the basis of the black man is God with the messenger was Master Farad Muhammad. That was the foundation of it all. It all sprung from that. But we like, I'm God. The I'm God stuff. You know, it springs from us. But the messenger, when he presenting the program, he not saying like, yo, the Master Farad Muhammad taught me and I came up with a program based off what he told me. He's saying this is the program that God gave to me for you. Right. So this is what the messenger says about us. Because in this new school, the black man is God stuff, we need to know what the messenger specifically said about us. Because to understand what the messenger says about God, we have to take his subjects, and whatever he mentions in this subject only applies to that in the subject. If the subject Master Farad Muhammad, then everything he talking about applies only to Master Farad Muhammad. It don't apply to me. I can't take his subject on Allah is God. He talking about the wisdom of Master Farad Muhammad. I can't say that's me. Or that represents me. I can't take what he say about the scientists and their wisdom and what they had the power to do and say that's me too. Can't do that. I can't take Yaqub and what he say about the wisdom of Yaqub and think that apply to me. Because it don't. Because when we talk about ourselves in this new school stuff, we like to say the black man is all wise and does everything right and exact. And we feel like that's me. You know, I'm all wise and do everything right and exact. No. What did the messenger say about us when he talked about us? This comes from the message to the black man. Allah is judging today. The messenger says prophets of God can only deliver the truth to the people. But to make them to believe, see, and understand it, and accept or reject it must come from God. Right. So we don't even have the power to understand what the messenger's saying without Master Farad Muhammad. Right. That's our all wise. Everything that the messenger taught us about this black man is God stuff stems from Master Farad Muhammad. It all. We don't even have the power to read message to the black man and understand what the messenger's saying. We don't even have the power to get the lessons and memorize it. Say, I know what it means. We don't even have that much power. Only thing we have the power to do is submit to the teachings of the messenger. All praise due to Allah. That's all we got the power to do, to understand it. The messenger says, prophets of God can only deliver the truth to the people. But to make them to believe, see, and understand it, and accept or reject it, this must come from God. Then we got to understand, what does understand mean? That's something we be tripping about in this new school stuff too. Because all these brothers that left the Nation of Islam and coming up with their own teachings, brothers like to say, oh, that's his understanding. No, that ain't what understanding mean when the messengers say that prophets of God can only deliver the truth to the people, but to make them to believe, see, and understand it and accept or reject it must come from God. What does understand mean? Understand means to perceive the intended meaning of words, a language, or a speaker. The intended meaning. Right. That's what understand means. Understand don't mean I get to tell you what I think this means. Understanding, when the messenger talk about understanding, Master Farad Muhammad gives you understanding. It's the intended meaning of what he taught. The only person who knows the intended meaning of what Master Farad Muhammad taught is the messenger. Right. That's it. We don't know. Right. We never met God. Right. God never explained to us his intentions. He never explained to us his program. He never explained to us his intentions. Right. All that he told the messenger. Right. All praise due to Allah. So when we get the teachings, the program of the messenger, he the only one who can tell us the intended meaning. So this my understanding stuff don't mean nothing. Right. So I can take the lessons out the temple. Tell the brother to memorize. He memorized. But he don't understand the intended meaning of what he repeating. Because the purpose of these teachings is not just to get you to be able to repeat. Because when the messenger says he's the messenger of Allah, Allah been having messengers and prophets. And what the messenger teaches us about the program is in line with Allah and the prophets. Not just this stuff that's going on today. Because when these brothers interpret the teachings for themselves, they only in line with what they talking about. They little group. They not aligned with Allah and the prophets. Now, the messenger being in line with Allah and the prophets. This comes from Ecclesiastes 5:18 through 19. And this is the New English translation. This is easier to understand than the King James. It says, and this starting with verse 18. It says, I have seen personally what is the only beneficial and appropriate course of action for people. To eat and drink and to find enjoyment in all their hard work on earth. during the few days of their life which God has given them, for this is their reward. To every man whom God has given wealth and possession, he has also given him the ability to eat from them, to receive his reward and find enjoyment in his toil. These things are a gift of God. Because the black man been robbed of being able to enjoy the fruits of our labor. The white man enjoys the fruits of our labor. We could work all our lives on our jobs for the white man and don't have nothing to pass on to our offspring. Nothing to pass on to the next generation. But when Allah and the prophets, because it ain't just the messenger comes in line with Allah and the prophets. Because the messenger taught us that the Bible is dealing with the coming of the Son of Man. That's what it's dealing with. That's why when he was talking to Cup, he said, you disagree with Allah and the prophets did. Because what I'm talking about is in line with Allah and the prophets. That's right. So when the messenger talks about his program, he's not talking about it's some program from him. Because for us to enjoy the fruits of our labor, that's a gift of God, to enjoy the fruits of your labor. It ain't something that you get because you just a wise guy. God is offering to us this program. Right. Because the messenger says, he says, there is no other or better program offered to you, I should say future, than the one which God himself offers to you. Not that I offer to you. God himself offers to you. Right. Then he goes on to say, I offer to you that which the world of wisdom will agree is the best and only solution for our problem, and God himself, whom I preach to you, has appeared in the person to me to bring an end to our suffering, bears me witness. Yes, God came to bring an end to our suffering. Not the messengers found was taught some teachers. God came to deliver us from our suffering. Just like it says with Allah and the prophets. It says to receive his reward and find enjoyment in his toil. Enjoyment in his toil. Not to be working hard, your fingers to the bone and you don't get nothing. Right. Sharecropping wasn't what Allah talking about enjoyment in your toil. That's right. If them brothers was sharecropping and they was getting the money that they deserved, that's enjoyment of their toil. Right. But the work is even harder when you working hard and you don't get nothing for it. Right. That's hard work. That's right. That's not enjoyment of your toil. Right. And the black man know that. We know that. We know about not getting enjoyment from our toil. So God came with a program for us to get enjoyment in our toil. Right. And the messenger also talked about with this understanding thing. He said that prophets of God can only deliver the truth to the people, but to make them to believe, see, and understand it, and accept or reject it must come from God. So once God give us the understanding, it ain't over yet. Because the messenger also taught us how we can lose it. He says they come in believing and then disbelieve. After their disbelief, Allah seals their hearts so they cannot understand or believe. Wow. So understanding ain't something we get on our own because we this wise guy and I know my lessons and you know I'm just the black man's God. No. It all stems from Master Farad Muhammad. Yeah. All of it. Yes, all of the teachers of the message don't stem from this black man, this God stuff we be talking. And when we go and study the teachers of the messages from the old school stuff like the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, them old lectures, them old newspaper articles, we'll see that our belief is as far away from the messenger as the east is from the west. Far away as the east is from the west, because the thing about the messenger that I love about reading about the brotherhood, they didn't socialize with brothers who was outside of the brotherhood. You don't associate with those in bad standing out of the temple. All praise due to Allah. It's just how it is. Right. You know, it's a privilege to be here. Yes. Right. It's a privilege to have these teachers. Right. It's a privilege to even sit in the seat. It's a privilege. Yes. It ain't something that you just get. Like we were talking the other day. I read, when I listened to brothers talk about that old school stuff, when them brothers used to see you coming in a long time and you ain't accept yet, what's happening? Right. You've been coming here for so long. Right. You ain't accepting yet? This ain't no hangout spot. Right. This ain't no church. This ain't no place where you gonna chill. I even heard this brother one time talk about them lieutenants that used to walk up and down the aisles looking at brothers. He said if their lieutenant walked up and down the aisles a couple times and seen you wasn't bearing witness, he said that was hostile. That's what he said, brother. He said that if they saw you and they see all this truth, that the minister talking and you ain't clapping, you ain't smiling, you ain't saying yes, sir, or nothing, that's hostile. You're like, something must be wrong with this brother. Like, what's happening? Oh, praise due to Allah. Tell him. That old school stuff, I love listening to that. Because it feels like that's what it should be. Like, I mean, all this, you say you believe in the message. We all do. If you in here, you come here to hear the teachings. I'm telling you the teachings. Straight from the horse's mouth, as they say. You can't clap. You can't smile. You can't say nothing. No. He hostile. Somebody gonna ask like, what's up? You don't want to bear witness? And they said it firm, like, what's happening with you? All of that stuff was for real. They took it to heart because God came. And they saw the messenger for the first time. Black people can work hard and enjoy the fruits of their labor. For the first time, I could sell Muhammad Speaks newspaper and I could see the messenger buying farmland. I could see the messenger buying temples. I can see the messenger providing jobs for black people. I can go to the salon. I can go to your supermarket. I can see the fruits of my labor. Oh, praise due to Allah. So brothers used to take it to heart different. How we take it. You know what I'm saying? But a believer is a believer. Because you can see the same thing in the Muhammad Speak newspaper and not have actually been there and still take it to heart. Same way. Because you believe that Allah can do it for us too. That's right. It's what you believe when you see it. You look at it like, oh, that's what the messenger did. Well, we can do it too. The messenger said that for you and me, 100% Allah is with you 1,000%. But if you deviate from me, he deviates from you. That's what he said. So we want to look at the messenger benefiting from the fruits of his labor as the messenger of Allah. Now this comes from this is a November 24th, 1972, Muhammad Speaks, and it's called Black Man of U.S. and Africa. This is the messenger. And this shows you the difference between us just repeating something and us actually getting to understand. This right here is the messenger building that office and sales building that's in Chicago. Now, I didn't know. I thought that the office and sales building was something that the messenger bought until I got the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. But this is what this November 10th, 1972 Muhammad Speaks newspaper says. It says the above photograph depicts the scene at 78th and Cottage Grove Avenue in Chicago, where another monumental step forward is being taken by the Nation of Islam under the divine guidance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The beautiful sales and office building shown on the billboard was designed by the noted black architect Leroy Hillard. It is being built by the Bush Construction Company, one of the largest black construction companies in America. As an indication of the tremendous respect and faith that the business community has in the word of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Mr. Ernest Bush, president of Bush Construction Company, moved his equipment to the site and began to excavate as soon as Mr. Muhammad indicated that his company had been awarded the contract. He asked for neither signed contract nor retainer. That's word is bond.
Yes.
We can get them lessons and say, oh, my word is bond and bond is life and I give my life. That's garbage. This man, a construction worker who owned his construction company, just off the messenger's word, went, and this is a picture of it. These brothers already digging the foundation for the building.
Yes, sir.
$2 million office and sale building. Just on the word of the messenger.
Yes, sir.
All praise due to Allah. Not only did the messenger have a black construction company build a building, he had a black architect draw the design.
Yes, sir.
So all through the Muhammad Speaks issues, they were showing the progress of the building.
Yes, sir.
And they showing black men build a building.
Yes, sir.
I had never seen nothing like that in my life. I'm telling you, when I was getting these Muhammad Speaks newspaper, I knew the messenger was doing this thing, but I didn't know he was doing it like that. I'm telling you. I knew the messenger had businesses. I knew the messenger had fiery brothers, all that. But when you actually see situations and see different circumstances that they got into and how they got out, it's like, wow. Yes, sir. He was a messenger of Allah. Yes. That's all it is. Yes, sir. So we had this Muhammad Speaks newspaper, and this is the March 9th, 1973, Muhammad Speaks, and it's called Muslim Saviors Day, 1973. It says, 18,000 hear Muhammad tell of the plan to save the blacks of America by God in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Always continuing to let you know it's from God. Right. He the one who gonna let us enjoy the fruits of our labor. Yes, sir. Just like it was with the prophets. I ain't no different. Allah and the prophets. So in this Muhammad Speaks, the messenger got a picture of the actual building. Because every week, they were showing the progress in this building. Now you can see, I mean, they were showing the brothers bringing the big beams in with the big cranes and stuff. Brother, I mean, all brothers. Yes, sir. Bringing in them big old iron beams, putting it in the ground. That stuff you only see white people do. Yeah. It's the messenger. Right. Yes, he was doing that. So this Muhammad Speaks showed the big beams. It's not complete, but you can see the construction site. Well, these black men who building a building from a black architect's design, from a black man, the messenger's money. Yes. So when he said he offered jobs, he ain't just talking about you can be a waiter at the restaurant. Right. And that's how they try to portray the messenger when they talk about the businesses and stuff, when they talk about, you know, Elijah Muhammad, he had businesses. They try to make it seem like it's the mom and pop stuff. Right. You know, he had a little candy store or something. Yes. But the messenger was doing it big. Right. All praise due to Allah. Right. The messenger say we a nation within a nation. Right. He was doing stuff nations was doing. Right. He wasn't doing stuff that no leader do. Right. Can't no other group say they had a building built here in America by black people. Not just by a construction company, but the architect black, the construction company black, and the man who provided the money black. All black. Can't nobody say that but the messenger. Then we can go on and read what it says under the photograph. It says the photograph above is an artist's conception of a beautiful new sales and office building under construction at 78th Street and Cottage Grove Avenue on south side of Chicago. This structure will be added to the long list of accomplishments by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who is constantly calling for the black man to build up and beautify his own community. Great plans are in store for the east side of Cottage Grove Avenue. In just a few days, it will take a new growth, a growth which will cause this area to blossom into a beautiful, unimaginable place. The people who now live and work there. So the messenger, he wasn't just talking about building up no building. He talking about the whole south side of Chicago. That's right. That's how the messenger was talking. Yes. He wasn't talking about, yo, I'm just going to build up this building for these black people to build up the building and that's it. He talking about building up the whole south side of Chicago. That was the message. With Allah's plan to have the black man reap the fruits of his labor. Right. So it says the sales and office building will take its place in this area along with the Salam Snack Shop, your supermarket, the Fish House, Salam Restaurant, the Muslim Import Store, the Shabazz Bakery, and newly constructed Temple No. 2 clothing store and an office building as testimony on to the success and progress of the Nation of Islam under divine guidance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And the other thing that I like about the message is the messenger will always tell you to compare his work to them brothers who left the temple. Right. Because they always used to try to give credit to Malcolm X like he was the one who really, you know, gave the messenger his fire. It was Malcolm X. So the messenger used to say, don't bother these brothers who leave. Let them go. We ain't trying to bother you. We ain't going to come after to get you because the messenger said in the laborers meeting, I had too much of a problem trying to get you in the first place.
Right.
So he said, once you leave, it's between you, God, and the devil.
Right.
All praise due to Allah.
Right.
The messenger say, leave them alone.
Right.
Let them do what they want to do. But compare what I'm doing to what they do.
Right.
Don't argue with them. Let them brothers do what they want. Let whoever want to join them join. Don't bother.
Right.
But after you know he used to be in the temple, after you know he making up his own thing, compare what I'm doing to what he doing.
Right. Right.
That's what I'm saying. Compare my followers to the people who follow him.
Right.
That's the message. And another beautiful thing about the message, we got to go back to something we was talking about last week. This Jet magazine that says, who speaks for the Negro? We talked about last week how Core came over to the message.
Right.
Now let's talk about Roy Wilkins. 'Cause all of them came to the message. All of them did, because the message said 90% of them is going to be sympathizing with me by 1970. So let's talk about Roy Wilkins. Now the thing about the Muslims in the Nation of Islam when the messenger was alive, they weren't with the My Black Brother stuff. They used to beat on Roy Wilkins now. Martin Luther King,
Yeah. Yes, sir.
them militants. It wasn't all this all My Black Brother stuff like we do with the sympathizing with brothers who are against the messenger's program. I don't care how much you love the devil, how much you turn the other cheek. If you got a program, you in opposition to the message. Whether you know it or not, whether Muslims know it or not. If you talking about something that's opposing the messenger, you in opposition.
That's right.
The messenger said he got an offer from God himself
Right.
that he get offering to the 20 million.
Yes, sir.
So if Roy Wilkins, James Farmer, and Martin Luther King saying, hey, I think we should do this, they opposition.
Right.
Whether they know it or not.
That's right.
But Muslims in the day of the messenger knew they was opposition.
Right.
They knew that.
Yes, sir.
So that's why in the Muhammad Speaks newspapers, this is a cartoon that they got of Roy Wilkins. Because they used to attack their program with the truth. They used to show the world that look at this Uncle Tom.
That's right.
Look at this stuff he talking about.
Right.
So they got a picture or a cartoon in the November 8, 1963 Muhammad Speaks that says trick or treat time. It got the white man handing Roy Wilkins, it says watered down civil rights bill. And the white man saying, for you, boy, with the president's commit compliments.
Yes, sir.
Making a mockery of this stuff he was doing.
Right. Yes, sir.
It wasn't with the old My Black Brother, let's all just have unity. No. Look at this Uncle Tom.
Right.
Look at what this Uncle Tom, are you going to follow this Uncle Tom or you going to follow the message?
Right.
All praise due to Allah.
Right.
That's how the messenger got them civil rights people in the temple. It wasn't with the, come on, My Black Brother, we should go to the temple. No.
Right.
This is another Muhammad Speaks. This Muhammad Speaks newspaper right here, because the one person who used to get beat on more than anybody was Martin Luther King.
Yes, sir.
They done had so many articles, so many cartoons about Martin Luther King.
That's right.
They used to whoop Martin Luther King.
Right.
That's why it's a mockery to the messenger to see what Muslims say about Martin Luther King today. To know what the messenger said about him.
Right.
He didn't say they killed him because he woke up, like how we say. The messenger said what he was offering to you was something that was going to send you to hell.
That's right.
And because he did not listen to the white man, that's why they killed him. That's what he said in Fall of America. He wasn't talking like, oh, Martin Luther King woke up. He used to still talk about him after he died. That he only going to send you to hell. So this is a Muhammad Speaks newspaper. Because they used to talk about Martin Luther King so much, they didn't even put his name all the time at the bottom of the cartoon. They just say Slave Sam and Modern Sam. But the title of the newspaper is called The Reverend Martin Luther King. Person on the cartoon looked just like Martin Luther King. Just like what he was doing.
Right. That's right.
So right here, under the Slave Sam, it says 100 years ago, you're free now. You can go. That's what the white man, Uncle Sam, telling Slave Sam. So Slave Sam says, Where am I going, master? I want my job right on. So then you got the modern saying. You got all these civil rights leaders with their names at the bottom. You got Farmer, which is this brother right here. You got his name under there. Then you got Wilkins. Wilkins is this one right here. He on this too. They got all of them on there.
Yes, sir.
With Martin Luther King on his knees, begging the devil, talking about, I want to be your brother now.
Yes, sir. That's what he said.
The message used to criticize them preachers.
Right.
For talking about they want to be the brother to the white man.
That's right.
Now we talking about the white man, our brother. That's why you can get these Muhammad Speaks newspapers. You ain't got to say a word. All you got to do is read back what Muhammad Speaks news. Sometimes you can take these brothers' articles and just read them. Just come and just read, say what he said, and that's it. Because these brothers' articles, the messenger was so plain.
That's right.
He wasn't trying to be scientific in how he explained nothing to you.
That's right.
So when he had ministers go talk, they could talk in a crowd of illiterate black people who ain't know how to read. And them high science PhDs could be in the same when everybody get the same understanding.
That's right.
That's how they used to talk. It wasn't all praise due to Allah. It wasn't nothing that you had to go home and look up like what that brother said. No. And they wasn't sounding foolish either. They didn't have to sound like the white man, use big words to make it simple and plain. That's how the messenger was.
That's right.
And he was always beating on Martin Luther King and them civil rights leaders. So around 1970, Roy Wilkins got on board with the Muslims. He didn't get on board because the messenger was with the Oh My Black Brother stuff. He got on board because the messenger gave him a whooping.
Right.
Whooped him with the truth. All them ministers talking about Roy Wilkins. So in 1970, on September 12, 1970, Camden News, Roy Wilkins got an article called Black Muslims Indicate How to Change Status. So in this article, he telling black people, y'all can learn something from the Muslims.
Right.
Now, if you look at Roy Wilkins in 1959 and that hate that hate produced, he was talking against the Muslims.
That's right.
He was loving the devil in this. They was making cartoons about Roy Wilkins, but the truth is the truth.
That's right.
That's why the messenger shows he was the messenger of God. He didn't have to sympathize with you. He just told you the truth.
That's right.
These brothers not got to sympathize with you because they lying. So instead of them whooping you with the truth, they try to use it and try to be so sympathetic with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, brother, I know you still cussing and drinking, but just come on with me. You know, I'm the cool guy. You know what I'm saying? Since I know you don't want to wear your headpiece, but your heart right, you can stay. That's how they do. No, not the messenger.
Right.
Because the truth is the truth.
That's right.
And you going to have to accept the truth. No matter how much you fight it, no matter how much you disagree with it, no matter how much you don't want to accept it, at the end of the day, we all going to have to face the facts. The truth is the truth.
That's right.
So, Roy Wilkins, in the middle of his article, he says, unlike the average black militant, the Muslims believe in hard work and in paying their way by building up the economy within their group. Talking about the messenger program.
Right.
Hard work.
Yes, sir.
More than just memorizing your lessons.
That's right.
More than you just being this wise guy.
That's right.
Hard work.
That's right.
Because God says, when he talks about, in this thing, when God talks about our benefiting from the fruits of our labor. See what else God say. This comes from Psalms. Psalms 14, verse 23. It says, all hard work brings a profit.
Yes, sir.
But mere talk leads only to poverty.
Yes, sir.
A line of prophets.
Right.
The messenger coming with. Hard work.
That's right.
When with no talk.
That's right.
You can even look at the Muslims back in the day. They don't even have that persona like scientists and stuff. Like they was just sitting around science. They got more of a militant kind of thing going on. And we got the more I just know what I'm talking about kind of stuff. They had that militant like you with the messenger. What?
Right.
Always looking like I got to go do something. We don't got all praise to it. I'm telling you. They look more serious when you see them pictures of them brothers. They don't look like they just sitting around like, oh, what he gonna say? They looking like, man, I gotta go do this, I gotta go do that. They look like they was working. Because that's what the messenger was talking about and everybody saw it.
Yes, sir.
Roy Wilkins wasn't never in the temple. Roy Wilkins ain't never accept Islam, but after a while of watching the Muslims, they see so hard work.
Right.
He ain't say these brothers is wise and they smart. He says, unlike the average black militant, the Muslims believe in hard work and in paying their way by building up an economy within the group. They have retail stores in their new headquarters. More jobs for self, says one of their signs. Among their many shops in New York and elsewhere are restaurants which are clean and serve good food. He says Negro American militants shun work and the pooling of small experience and small assets. This the same man, the messenger. The messenger wasn't sympathizing with him, telling him to say that or nothing.
Right.
They was whooping him.
Yeah.
They was talking against his thing. But the truth is the truth.
Right.
You ain't got to sympathize when you telling the truth.
That's right.
You just tell the truth.
Right.
Accept it or reject it.
That's right.
All praise due to Allah. Because the thing about the truth that's more beautiful than lies, they gonna all have to accept the truth.
That's right.
Lies only gonna last for a certain amount of time.
Yes, sir.
That's all a lie gonna do. But when you got the truth, you put the truth, I don't care what you do. Because it's like a boomerang, it's gonna come back and hit you in the head.
Right.
That's what truth is. So you just tell the truth. So this same brother, who they had cartoons in Muhammad speaks about, same brother them ministers used to beat on, now he defending the Muslims
Yes, sir.
against these militants. Because the militants used to talk against the messenger.
That's right.
In 1969 Savior's Day, the messenger was talking about Fred Hampton. He was talking about how them brothers came to the messenger's house and personally told him, stop putting me in the paper.
That's right. That's right.
That's how much them militants was talking against the messenger.
That's right.
That's why all this sympathizing. We sympathize with stuff that when the messenger was alive, they was against the openly against the messenger. Openly talking about the messenger.
Right.
What's that brother name? I forget the brother name. He was, and then if you look at all the Muslims who was Muslims but joined the Black Panther Party, it was a lot of them brothers who was Muslims in jail. Then they go join the Black Panther Party and then talk against the messenger.
Right.
So this is the article where Roy Wilkins is defending the message against the militants.
Right.
He says nearly always they have their hands out to the city, the state, or to Uncle Sam. They latch on to the funding, which means any process by which the money comes from white sources, enabling black militants to draw salaries and sass the white world at the same time. Not learn, but sass. So he's telling you that all these black militants is doing is trying to get these handouts.
That's right.
And when we look at today, this is what they like to share on social media today. This Bobby Seale with all this free breakfast stuff. I don't hate on the Panthers. Do what you want to do, like the message say. But I ain't sharing all that stuff, man. This only hating on the message.
That's right.
You mean to tell me we gonna talk about a free breakfast program where they feeding them kids hog and grits
Yeah.
and sausages,
Right.
and you ain't got nothing to say about the message?
Right.
That's hating on the message.
That's right.
You ain't sending this because you feel like this something black people need to do. Because this failed.
That's right.
That's right.
All of them failed.
That's right.
They would. During the time of the message, we could see how successful the Muslim was by looking at the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. Because the Panthers had a paper too.
That's right.
They was out there trying to copy the Muslims. All of them was copying the Muslims.
That's right.
Had their little papers out trying to sell them. So in 1974, in March of 1974, they came out with the top black newspapers. They got the #1 newspapers, Muhammad Speaks, with 750,000 a week. The Panther paper ain't even on here. That's just the facts. The truth is the truth.
Right. That's right.
But yet, they come out with this stuff like we should be thankful for them. Like what Roy Wilkins says, this says, never forget, WIC, Women's Infant and Child, was created by the Black Panthers to help feed single mothers and their children in their communities. What's WIC? It's government assistance.
That's right. That's right.
They ain't doing for self.
That's right.
That's begging the devil.
That's right.
Like how Roy Wilkins said, they shun hard work.
Right.
They look at the messenger hard work and you don't even want to help. You gonna come personally and tell him, take me out your paper.
That's right.
But when them devils come, when CNN coming, The New York Times come and all them come. You all in the camera.
Right.
All in the camera. Yeah. We about to burn it down. All in the camera. Message you to have in the Muhammad speak, you talk the big talk.
Right.
Talking the big talk. That's what the message used to talk about these people, brother. He said you talk the big talk, but when the devil come, you ain't got no big talk.
That's right.
Talking no big talk. You never heard Muslims talk no big talk. Muslims was doing the big thing, though.
Right.
They was doing the big thing. They wasn't talking no big talk. They didn't even participate in them demonstrations. The Messenger had in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper I saw, it had an article in there telling them FOI, if you get seen in them demonstrations, you get 90 days. That's how the message was. I bet not see none of y'all out there. Let them fail.
Yes.
Let them fail on their own. Don't help them do nothing. If you don't want to accept me, after all this success you see, let them fail. And I bet not catch none of y'all helping. They don't want to come to me, come to the temple and accept me as the messenger of God, let them fail.
That's right.
Let them fall, and we beating them. We beating on them. We ain't about with the my black brother stuff.
Right.
We beating them with the truth.
That's right.
That's how the messenger was. But now we sympathize. We don't talk about nobody's program. We don't talk about no leaders. They could be with the same sex marriage. We won't have nothing to say. We'll have a meeting and have them speak. But the messenger wasn't like that.
That's right.
So Roy Wilkins, in his article, it says, it is the schooling that the Muslims have so much to teach Negro Americans. This would be a busy nation with only normal violence if Negro American youngsters were made to realize that we have a lot of catching up to do. Instead of clamoring for standards to be lowered so they can enroll, they need to copy the Muslims who built a school so good it is to be given accreditation. Negro Americans' kids need to build closed-circuit television sets instead of throwing bricks through windows, tossing Molotov firebombs and looting stores to steal television sets. He going in on them.
Right.
All these Panthers with these guns and they throwing bricks, they ain't got nothing to offer you. After you done burnt it down, what you gonna do?
Right.
He was watching this, and that's what the messenger wanted. The messenger wanted them to watch and see what I'm doing compared to everybody else, even what you doing.
Right.
Watch and see. Don't help them. Leave them alone. Let them do what they want to do, because the truth will prevail.
That's right.
That's why brothers did not have a misunderstanding what the messenger was saying, because you can only be with him or you had to leave.
That's right.
You couldn't sympathize with everybody. So it was clear what the messenger said when he said a white man is devil.
That's right.
You can't socialize with him. You can't socialize with Christians. You can't go to the movies. You can't go to dances. You can't go to funerals. You can't go to this. You can't go to that. So you understood he mean the white man's devil. You know? We can't do nothing the devil do. We can't bring the devil to the temple. We can't, so we get put out. He must mean the white man's devil.
Right.
You ain't had no other choice but to believe what he said, because he followed up.
That's right.
When I found out how the messenger had investigators go out, because I'm from the Christian world, thinking, you know, this is my business, what I do. Ain't nobody coming telling me what I can't do, and you see some brother telling you, oh, you can't go to the fight. Hey, what you mean? Can't go to the fight. But when I found out, because I was listening to these brothers talk about them investigators, looking and finding and seeing, I'm like, dang, the messenger was for real.
That's right.
When this brother's only job is to find brothers breaking the law. All I want you to do is just watch them. I already got lieutenants and captains, and I tell them the believers report it. But your job, go watch it.
That's right.
Everybody watching everybody, but I got one person who's specific job, because he might be out selling papers. He might not see it, but you won't see it, because that's all you do,
Right.
is watch it.
Right.
That was the message.
Yes, sir.
That let you know he was for real about what he was saying.
That's right.
He was for real about the restrictive law.
That's
We
right.
ain't for real about it. And people like Roy Wilkins saw that. And when they saw the success of the messenger, even though the messenger criticized his thing, he like, yo, you got to give credit where credit is due.
That's right.
There's a lot we all can learn from the Muslims.
That's right.
So he goes on to say, one of these days, the nation may wake up to find that while Negroes were getting high on Malcolm X paperbacks, Malcolm X's co-religious were making away with the prize of manhood in a tough and demanding world. While these Negroes, niggas, and colored boys getting high off Malcolm X, they ain't realizing Malcolm X co-religious, them brothers who stuck with the message.
Right. Right.
Building in a demanding world.
Yes, sir.
They ain't making no excuses. Roy Wilkins saw that. And that is what the messenger wanted him to see.
That's right.
Wanted him to see his thing failing. Wanted him to see everybody's failing, but the messenger is successful.
That's right.
That's what the messenger wanted people to see. So the messenger also had, and this is something that I read, I was kind of threw back to. This talk about the Muslim parades, because the Muslims had a parade.
Right.
Muslim parade.
Yes, sir.
This Muhammad Speaks newspaper right here, August 8th, 1969, Muhammad Speaks, talks about the Muslim parade.
Yes, sir.
Once again, I heard they had a parade, but I ain't know it was like this.
Yes, sir.
It says the Muslims' Great Parade, Sunday, July 27, 1969, was one of the most spectacular parades that we have ever seen of the black man. A very peaceful one.
Yes, sir.
We thank all of you who were out to see this parade that Mr. Muhammad, the Messenger of Allah, designed for us. All the expenses of this parade and the free meals, 9,319 free meals.
Yes, sir.
That'll send you out of business. 9,319 free meals. It say we're given by the Messenger of Allah. He financed everything that was given free himself. And he seeks no return of any of his expenses for this great and enjoyable parade with the 9,319 free meals of good food, which is the kind of food that we, the Muslims, eat every day.
Yes, sir.
So free lamb,
Yeah.
free beef,
Yes, sir.
free good food,
Right.
free white.
Yes, sir.
No, that's expensive, that is. And you getting it for free.
Right.
9,000 free meals. And when you read them other Muhammad Speaks talking about the parade, he was saying everything is free except for the Muhammad Speaks. That was the only thing brothers had to pay for was the Muhammad Speaks. Then I heard a brother talk about the police force. He was saying that the police offered to help them secure the south side of Chicago. He said the brothers secured south side of Chicago. You know how big Chicago is?
Right.
Therefore I did that.
Right.
They said it wasn't no robberies, no burglaries, no nothing.
Yes, sir.
That's the message.
That's right.
Because Allah blessed him to enjoy the fruits of his labor.
That's right.
He wasn't just talking no talk. And it says that God gives you the understanding. So them believers who saw the message, because it's a special thing to have an understanding to be able to recognize the message.
That's right.
Some people thought Jim Jones was it. Some people thought Martin Luther King. So having an understanding to see the message is a blessing.
That's right.
Just to recognize him as the message.
That's right.
Just to recognize I'm going to give all my hard work and dedication to him.
That's right.
That's a blessing.
That's right.
That's Allah giving you understanding. Because you could give your hard work and dedication to a false prophet,
That's right.
a hypocrite. It was people who gave their dedication to Malcolm and was the loser.
Right.
So when the messenger say that God give you an understanding, that's what he's talking about.
Yes, sir.
You can enjoy the fruits of your labor because he can take the light.
That's right.
And you go follow one of these hypocrites and then you try to help them with your hard work and you won't get nothing in return. So we got to go further with Roy Wilkins, because there's also another person that they like to give all this credit to, and that's Malcolm X. They got this new movie out that's called, The Godfather of Harlem. And this is Forrest Whitaker is playing Bumpy Johnson. So now out of all of the time I heard about the history of Malcolm X, I ain't never heard nobody say he was cool with Bumpy Johnson. Now, to keep it real about Bumpy Johnson, though, I ain't got nothing against this brother. He was a black man who loved a black man. He used to donate to the messenger too. So all of this stuff they try to do to turn black people against the messenger, I ain't with it.
Yes, sir.
Because Bumpy Johnson ain't do nothing. This is what people saying after he gone. He didn't say none of this. This is what they saying, because nobody never was saying that before. They trying to say that Bumpy Johnson and Malcolm was teaming up to fight narcotics in Harlem. Trying to make it seem like Malcolm X was some driving force in New York. See, that ain't got nothing. And this is a picture of the movie with this Forrest Whitaker, who Bumpy Johnson, and this brother is the brother that played Malcolm X. Now, Because Spike Lee ain't never said nothing about Bumpy Johnson and the Malcolm X, but nah, Bumpy Johnson and Malcolm X teaming up to fight narcotics. But the facts of the history, because we always got to stick to the history.
That's right.
This right here comes from the Minneapolis Morning Tribune, January 10th, 1964. It's called Malcolm X Invited to Explain Therapy for Narcotics Addicts. Because what we like to do with the history, we like to do what they say romanticize on the history. We like to make those who we like be the winner. We like Malcolm X. We don't like the message. Because in this generation of Islam, I see why brothers didn't like the messenger then. They don't like them laws and rules. If the messenger ain't had no laws and rules, everybody would have been with the messenger.
Right. That's right.
I can get in this teeth, talk all of this talk, ain't got to do nothing.
Right.
I'm with the messenger.
Yes, sir.
But since the messenger had standards, the messenger had guidelines, the messenger even had in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper telling sisters how they should dress before they come to the temple.
That's right.
Say if you don't abide by the rules, you're going to be turned away.
Right.
That's how the messenger, he already got all this law, all this rule, all this strict stuff, and he's still telling you, this is how you got to dress to come in here.
That's right.
The messenger was hardcore. When you really look at what it was, he was hardcore.
That's right.
And for us, we can't even stand this. In this Islam, you can do it at your own pace. You ain't got, Well, brothers and sisters, I leave you as I came in the nation of Islam's beauty words, peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
Brothers and sisters, we rise to prayer. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, all praises due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the beneficent, the merciful. So, Master's day of judgment in which we now live, the alone do we serve and the alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path of those upon whom thou bestow thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is ever to be served, worship, praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is our true servant and last apostle. Ameen. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us not to do anything to anyone that we wouldn't have done it to ourselves and treat everybody right, even the devil. Assalamu alaikum.